What if I told you real dragons once walked the earth? Not the kind you see in movies with fire or guarding treasure, but living, breathing monsters. 40,000 years ago in the wild heart of ancient Australia, there roamed a predator so huge, so terrifying, that it could kill with a single bite. And its prey? Giants. Creatures bigger than anything alive today. The ground would tremble when it moved. Its massive tail could sweep a man off his feet. Its jaws and a trap of serrated teeth laced with venom. This was Megalania, the dragon of the outback. Not a myth, not a story. A real apex predator that once ruled the ancient wild. Imagine standing in the heat of the prehistoric sun. The air thick with dust and the hum of insects. You hear nothing at first, but something is watching. Something that's been still for hours, waiting for you to make a mistake. Megalania was the largest lizard to ever exist. Up to 23 feet from snout to tail, weighing more than a grand piano. Covered in dark, rough scales that blended into the dusty Australian scrubland, it was the ultimate ambush predator. Its tongue flicked the air, tasting chemical signals like a snake, detecting prey before it could even be seen. Its legs were thick and muscular, built for explosive bursts of speed. The claws could tear through skin and muscle in seconds, and its venom, powerful enough to send even the largest animals into shock, their blood pressure dropping until they could barely stand. This wasn't an animal that chased its prey. It didn't need to. Megalania's power came from patience, hours, sometimes even a whole day, waiting, watching, planning the perfect strike.
Australia at the time wasn't like today. It was a land of megafauna, giant versions of animals we know now. Kangaroos stood over 10 feet tall. Wombats the size of small cars grazed on open plains. There were massive flightless birds called genyornis that could crush bone with a single kick. And this world belonged to Megalania. The rivers and water holes were its hunting grounds. Prey would gather to drink, unaware that in the shadows, death was waiting. It didn't have to move until the moment was perfect, because here, everything eventually came to the water. A kangaroo steps forward, ears twitching. The wind shifts. Megalania's tongue flicks out, tasting the scent. Muscles coil like springs under its skin. And then an explosion of movement. 23 feet of scaled muscle launches forward. Its jaws clamp down, venom flooding the wound. The kangaroo kicks wildly, but the dragon lets go. It doesn't need to hold on, it just watches. The poison works quickly. The prey stumbles, collapses. Megalania moves in, unhurried, to claim its meal. This is how it hunted, with intelligence, with patience, with terrifying precision.
Sometimes Megalania would stalk prey for miles, not chasing, following. The bitten animal would think it had escaped. But every step was slower, every breath harder. The venom was winning. Hours later, the predator would find its victim lying in the dirt, eyes glazed, too weak to resist. This patient hunting style made Megalania nearly unstoppable. It didn't matter how fast you were, once it bit you, the outcome was inevitable. But no rain lasts forever. The Ice Age came to an end. The air grew hotter. The rains fell less often. Rivers shrank into thin streams. Grasslands turned into dry, cracked earth. And with the changing climate, the great herds of giant animals began to disappear. Less prey meant more competition. Megalania had to hunt smaller, quicker animals, and this made survival harder. Then came the newcomers, small, hairless, and fragile-looking, but clever. Humans arrived in Australia around this time, bringing tools, weapons, and a strange kind of power Megalania had never seen before: the ability to work together. At first, they feared the dragon. Campfires burned all night to keep it away. But fear turned into understanding. An understanding turned into a plan. The humans began to track Megalania, just as it tracked them. They studied its patterns, learned where it hunted, and most importantly, they learned how to trap it. Armed with stone-tipped spears, they would set ambushes of their own. Megalania, once the undisputed king, now found itself being hunted. The balance of power had shifted. One scorching afternoon, an old starving dragon spotted a lone wallaby. Hunger clouded its judgment. It lunged, but this time the prey didn't run. From the tall grass, humans rose, forming a circle. The dragon roared, tail lashing, jaws snapping, spears flew. One struck deep into its side, another into its neck. It thrashed violently, but the humans closed in. Minutes later, the great beast lay still. With that kill, a bloodline millions of years old came to an end. The last Megalania was gone. Its bones would lie buried for tens of thousands of years, waiting for curious hands to uncover them. And today we tell its story, a reminder that even the mightiest can fall. But somewhere deep in the untouched corners of the Australian outback, maybe, just maybe, a shadow still moves. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to encourage me to continue.